Welcome to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for rounds 3 and 4 of the Cooper Tires prototype lights. If the practice rounds seem to be any indicator from earlier in the week and the amount of bodywork which had to have been replaced on these cars here in the field, the Cooper Tires prototype lights powered by Mazda rounds 3 and 4 look to be extremely exciting. So let's go down to the pits and talk to our pole sitter, Sean Rahal of Comfort Motorsports. We're here with Sean Rahal, who has qualified on pole for the Cooper Tires prototype lights powered by Mazda here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Sean, fantastic qualifying time. Tell us about your qualifying laps.
Oh, we had a great car by Comfort Motorsports, and it's really an honor to be on the pole here. At Robert Talbot, my sponsor's home track, when they're a quarter mile up the road, and their actual company for Robert Talbot Clothing, as well as the Talbot Vineyards out here in Monterey, California. I'm really excited to qualify pole for both races. I feel like we probably had a little bit more left in the car. We didn't really want to use that up. We really wanted to save our tires and pit as early as possible for the race. But I'm really just excited to be here in this great racing organization with prototype lights, and be out here. And I really got to thank Racing Radios and Robert Talbot and Comfort Motorsports for getting here. My engineers and me, we worked on all the practice nights. We were up late here at the track, just working really, really hard to get that little bit extra out of the car. And we really have a consistent, great race car this weekend, and we're really looking forward to race time.
Any particular corners do you think you can pick up a little extra time when it comes race time?
I know where they're at, but I can't tell you guys. You'll have to wait and watch and see.
Well, congratulations once again on a fantastic qualifying lap. Sean Rahal of Comfort Motorsports.
Thank you, Matt. Let's take a look at the highlights from round 3 in a very exciting race here at Laguna Seca.
Well, leading off is Sean Rahal, our pole sitter, followed in second place by Ryan Booth, and number 6, Daniel Goldberg, is stalled on the grid. He is not getting that car started right now. Hopefully he'll be able to get that car restarted and join this race, but it looks like he's going to be at the back of the pack.
And here we go, taking the green. Here you see Mikhail and Ryan Booth having a little contact there right before the start-finish. This race is already even before the drop of the green, getting rough and rowdy. And there you see John Brownson trying an outside pass around the Andretti hairpin, and somehow he gets that to stick. That is not the ideal way to go around, but nice move by John Brownson to take third.
And you'll notice that a lot of the cars already have some different colored body panels on them, if that's any indication of the way that practice here at Laguna Seca earlier in the week went. So we're expecting an exciting race, and we've got a car off track. Turn 6 has really been claiming a lot of people in practice, sending them off track.
And you see here Sean Rahal and Ryan Booth kind of leaving the rest of the field behind.
Yeah, they're two of the young guns out here. We have 2 classes, the Masters class, and Padalicchio, that is, I can't tell what car number that is. That is one of the 8-Star Motorsports cars from one of the Padalicchios. Looks like car 2.
Yeah,
maybe?
I think so. It's very easy to do there. Corner 6 is a fast sweeper, and if you get it wrong or miss that apex by a little bit, that car will snap around on you.
And we see Mikhail Goeckberg putting a pass on one of the Ferrari of Houston entries, the 00 of Owen Kratz. Oh, and the 2 Ferrari of Houston entries battling it out on themselves through the corkscrew. The corkscrew, one of the iconic turns in the world here at Laguna Seca.
Absolutely. What a beautiful corner. What a beautiful track. And as you see, there's gravel surrounding all of the corners here. As you see, an aggressive move by Joel Janko around one of the Padalicchio cars. Didn't get it done, but in that beautiful corkscrew there, you're always going to see a lot of action.
And Mikhail locks it up and spins in the corkscrew, trying to get around Scott Tucker in the Level 5 Motorsports entry. That's going to put him back in the field.
That's too bad. It's a very easy place to spin there. Your car gets off balance, and as you see, one of the orange cars, one of the Padalicchios, looks like he backed it into the tire wall right there at the exit of corner 3.
Yeah, he's got a pretty substantial amount of damage and bodywork at the rear, but it looks like he's going to be able to get that going, and he'll be able to get that going back on the track here shortly, and we'll keep on racing here for round 3 highlights.
I love the excitement here. Never a dull moment in the prototype lights.
That is the truth. The prototype lights always have great on-track action, as we see the rest of the field starting to sort by. And the other Padalicchio has spun into the corkscrew, another very easy place to let the car get loose and spin. And then this was the big accident Richie Holt backs his car in hard between turns 2 and 3. And talking to Richie after the race, he said he didn't feel like a lot of damage. And, of course, also at the same time, the number 96 car of Danny Mancini and one of the 8-Star Motorsports cars gets into each other. But here we have our restart. Sean Rahal leading the field with 1 lap left to go and another spin in the back of the field. The 2 Ferrari of Houston entries getting together, and Owen Kratz pays the price for it. Ryan Booth cuts to the inside to go around Dan Whalen, one of the lap cars. Yeah. John Brownson just behind, and John Brownson spins through the hairpin.
Just overcooked it into that corner just a little bit, but thankfully didn't hit any other cars.
And John Brownson gets it back going, and Jim Booth also gets it back going. Sean Rahal, number 14, all this action allows him to pull out a little bit here on the last lap. It's going to be really hard for Ryan Booth to catch him, and it was. Sean Rahal, car number 14, won round 3, followed by Ryan Booth in second place, and Scott Tucker was third in the overall podium and first in the Masters class. Well, that was a fantastic round 3. So here we are with round 4. The cars are under their pace laps, and we see Daniel Goldberg waving a piece of his bodywork around. He apparently has a piece of his bonnet that has come loose, and he has caught it.
Yeah, that's just a small piece of fiberglass here that covers up the shocks in the front of the car. It's held on by 1 screw, and I've seen them come off before with all the beating and banging that you saw in round 3. I'm not surprised, but how the heck he caught it and is holding on to it is beyond me. Look at that.
You can see him on the inboard. He's caught it, and he's going to get rid of it and throw it to some corner workers. He said, hey, here's a souvenir.
Oh, man, take this home with you. Give this to your kids. That is funny, and that shouldn't really affect his car too much. Obviously, that was not intentional, but it was pretty funny to see. I've never seen that before.
Well, the cars are all getting lined up as they come around behind the Mazda pace car, getting all set, ready to go. The Mazda pace car lights are off, the flashy things, as somebody on pit road told me. But that's a funny, different story. But the cars are coming around the final turn here, getting ready to head down the start-finish line for the green flag, and they'll be led off by Sean Rahal and Ryan Booth. On board with Dan Goldberg, really getting to see how close these cars are as they come across the start-finish line for the green flag here for round 4 of the Cooper Tires prototype lights powered by Mazda.
Look at this race, and real close already, 2 by 2 going in. Looks like they're all making it through corner 2, the Andretti hairpin.
Oh, and Ryan Booth off and on. And Scott Tucker off and on as well.
There you go. Look at that move by Goldberg, grabbing second place from that little bobble by Ryan Booth. Nice move by Goldberg.
Yeah, that's going to really put a bee under the bonnet of Ryan Booth. He's going to want to get second place back from his teammate, Dan Goldberg, because he wants to get after Sean Rahal because he is in the point hunt.
That's right, yeah. Rahal with the commanding victory in round 3. Booth really needs to keep him in check, as does Goldberg. Goldberg's still in the hunt as well.
Ryan ran over that curb on the inside of turn 6, and he has, it looks like he has snapped his suspension.
Yeah.
I saw a little piece fly up right as he hit.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of tire rub that you could see, so I'm thinking that part of the A-arm suspension in the front left has snapped. That's really too bad. He had a great car this weekend. It looks like his weekend might be done.
And he's going to be beating himself up over that one. But it's Sean Rahal leading Dan Goldberg, and Mikhail Goetberg inherits third place. And that's the end of lap 1 here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for the Cooper Tires prototype lights. And then we see the first place Masters entry, number 34, John Brownson, followed by Level 5 Motorsports number 5 car of Scott Tucker.
As they come up the front straight, you got battles all throughout this field, which is one of the great things about this series. There's fun racing in every part of this field, not just at the front.
That's exactly right. You'd have we always talk about the battles within the battles. You have the young guns out front for the overall. You have the guys in the middle of the pack who are battling it out against each other. Then you have the front of the Masters class field, and then you have some of the guys in the middle of the Master class field. So you have all these battles like what you see here with Joel Janko and Daniel Mancini, the 25 car of Janko and the 96 car of Mancini. They're battling it out, and they're separating two brothers, the Padalicchio brothers of 8 Star Motorsports, who, being brothers, you should know this, Anthony. You always want to battle it out.
Yes, sir. I've been racing with my brothers and against my brothers for many years, and it's I'm sure these two are feeling the same thing that I did, which was a great rivalry and a lot of respect.
So let's take a quick break, and we'll be back to the action here at Laguna Seca.
Welcome back to Mazda Raceway at Laguna Seca for the round 3 of Prototype Lights, powered by Mazda.
And immediately back, we see Lamont Harris and Ludovico Manfredi getting into each other there at the final turn, leading onto the front stretch. And Lamont Harris got going. We'll see if Manfredi can get his car started, and yes, he has.
There he goes.
He's going to get back going and get rejoined with the field, and no caution, I see. So that's good. And when we came back, and Jim Booth off and on back there behind Dan Whalen, car number 88.
A couple Masters class guys duking it out, and all of a sudden it looks like he's got a run on him here. We'll see if he can put a move on him going into corner 5.
And we saw his son, Ryan Booth, as we came back from the commercial break, looking a little bit dejected as Jim Booth was making the pass. And we cut back to Sean Rahal going through the famous corkscrew, leading Dan Goldberg, car number 6 of Performance Tech. Ryan Booth and Jim Booth's teammate.
Yeah, and there is Jim Booth. He got around Dan Whalen.
Well, Anthony, please give us a lap around the track as we ride on board with Sean Rahal.
All right, here it is, the front stretch of Laguna Seca. Notice how smooth this track is in comparison to the last track that we were at in Sebring, as he brings it down into the famous corner 2, the Andretti hairpin. It's a double apex corner, and you're going to see a lot of action going into there as you come off the main straight into that heavy braking area. They'll go from 6th down to 2nd gear. This is corner 3, a right-hander that falls off camber, and this leads you into corner 4, a right-hander with a little more camber, so it's going to be a bit of a faster corner. Corner 5, left-hander, you'll see some passing as you just saw with Jim Booth and Dan Whalen. That leads you up to corner 6. This corner is a very fast, sweeping, almost like a dip corner. As you can see, it's shaped like a soup bowl. You can really fly through there, but if you miss that apex, you might be in trouble. This leads up the hill, the Rahal Straight, into the most famous corner in all of American racing, the corkscrew. Look as he just falls down 5-6 stories, and it's very tough to get the power down there because your wheels are spinning incredibly fast with all of that momentum. Through 9, 10, this leads into the final corner, the heaviest braking zone. You'll see some passing here as well, corner 11. Tightest corner on the track, but the most important as well is you want to get a good kick and good throttle application for this long straight here at Laguna Seca.
Thank you for that track lap analysis, Anthony. It's great to see that. And car number 2, Christian Padalicchio, trying to put a move on the number 96, Danny Mancini, and he can't make it stick. He's going to keep on hounding Danny Mancini because Christian Padalicchio in the car number 2, the orange and white car, used to be all orange, has a lot of replaced bodywork, wants to get up to his brother, the car number 3 you see there in the picture, Giancarlo Padalicchio. So he wants to get around Danny and Joel, who have their own battle going on, so he can get up there and fight with his brother a little bit.
Here he goes, peeks his nose in on 5, not quite there, and has to lock him up and get out of the corner. It looks like Danny's able to brake a little bit later than Christian, but Christian's getting a better run out of the corner. So this is a battle in that Masters class that we should be watching the whole race. Should be fun.
And on board with Dan Goldberg going through corner 6, that dip you mentioned, that tough corner, that very fast corner, as we see him trying to chase down Sean Rahal, and the dejected Ryan Booth was standing there off to the side of the corner.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Watching on as Mikhail Goetberg going through the famous corkscrew. Really hate to see that happen to Ryan Booth. Really good guy and a really great racer, so that was tough luck on his part right there.
Yeah, that's racing, though. I mean, it's part of the learning process that these guys in this development series have to learn, that with luck and experience comes good things and bad things. So hopefully he'll take this one on the chin and come back even stronger for the next round.
Well, we see Christian Potolicchio has gotten past Danny Mancini, and now he's working on Joel Janko at Eurosport Racing. You used to race with Eurosport, Anthony?
Yeah, that's correct. That's I believe that's my brother Matt's old car, so it's kind of neat to see the similar paint scheme as he makes a daring move into the braking zone of the corkscrew and gets it done. That was a heck of a pass.
Yeah, he actually put his left side tires off into the sand here at Laguna Seca and didn't have an accident, and now he's going to go after his brother.
Yeah, his crosshairs are on his brother's car right now. We'll see if these two mix it up a little bit or if they stay single file. I doubt that, but we'll see.
Now, really good shot here. You can see car number 3 and car number 2, both of 8 Star Motorsports, both have the same orange livery. Now, car number 2 seems to be white and orange this weekend. That is because of the results of round 3. He had a bad accident in round 3. And also you'll notice that Richie Holt did not start this race. They could not get his car repaired. That accident was a pretty tough one, and it pretty much destroyed the back of the car, and they couldn't get it repaired in time.
That's really too bad, but it's good to see a full field here anyway with the survivors from round 3 here duking it out.
And Christian is starting to line up his brother Giancarlo. He wants to get him as soon as possible. So we'll see if the brotherly love and respect shines through, or if they'll just throw a couple of fenders on each other and duke it out. As we see Sean Rahal coming down into the turn 2 hairpin. He's cool, calm, collected, and keeping his lead fairly well on Dan Goldberg. Looks like he's got a several corner lead, and Dan Goldberg's a fast driver.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he showed that in Sebring in rounds 1 and 2, and it doesn't seem like that bonnet is really affecting his aerodynamics that much. A track like this is very sensitive to aerodynamics, but it's not maybe as much as a track with a lot of straightaways. Even the straightaway here at Laguna Seca is not straight, so you're always turning the car, and setup is geared more toward high downforce, so that shouldn't affect him too much. And as long as he can keep the leader in his sights, and hopefully maybe with some traffic he can catch up to him.
Talking about the cars, the L1 prototype class is a spec class that is an Elan Motorsports Technologies DP02 chassis. The engine is a 2-liter 4-cylinder Mazda MZR, which produces roughly 235 horsepower at 8,000 RPMs, and the top speed is around 170 miles per hour. These cars are lightweight, fast, single-seater rocket ships, and are the perfect prototype development class here in the Cooper Tires prototype lights, powered by Mazda. Fantastic spec race cars.
And one thing I wanted to add about some of the cars here that separates them team from team, some teams that have been here for many years know what shock package to run and which aero package to run, and they really jump off the trailer with a full head of steam. And some of these other teams that maybe don't have the wealth of knowledge are playing catch-up, but that's part of the fun of racing. Sometimes you hit it right and sometimes you don't. And cars and tracks change depending on weather, so it's always exciting, and that's a real dynamic of this series, that they are able to change the aerodynamics, they're able to change the spring packages, they're able to run gurney strips if they want, so there's a lot of input between the engineers and the drivers.
Yeah, and that input between the engineers and the drivers, as you mentioned, is really about all you can do to these cars, because it is a spec series. So they're running the same engine package, they're running the same tire package, same bodywork, same chassis. So really what separates them are the drivers and the small engineering changes they can make, which makes this series so exciting. Why you have such good racing is because it does keep the cars closer together and makes drivers like Sean Rahal, Dan Goldberg, Mikhail Goldberg, Ryan Booth, really makes them shine, because they can take a spec car like this and they can really put it at the front of the field. As we watch Dan Goldberg here, on board with Dan Goldberg, watching him going flying through the corkscrew, awesome corner, and you can see him just really taking that extremely well without a bobble, very smooth.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Matt, and it also keeps the costs down in this series when you're running the same tires, same engine, same body. And I think it's a perfect balance of being able to keeping it a spec series and being able to make small changes so that your driving style can suit the car and the track. I think it's a great deal in the series, and as you saw in that onboard shot with Dan Goldberg. His hands are very steady. He didn't make any corrections in those corners. If you're in there and you're making corrections on every corner and you're scrubbing speed, you're going to wear out your tires, and every time you're on the edge, it's it's going to bite you eventually.
That's exactly right. As we rejoin the action here a little bit with Dan Mancini and Joel Janko, we see Dan has gotten around Joel, and that's a battle within the field. That is a Masters class battle. Daniel Mancini runs with Performance Tech. He's teammates with Dan Goldberg and Ryan Booth and Richie Holt, who's not in this race. And Joel Janko is a part of Eurosport Racing, your former team. As he locks it up going into turn 11, he's really pushing, trying to get up to Danny. He wants to get that position back.
Yeah, this is a great battle. I love watching this. Like I said, there's always battles throughout this race. Sometimes you'll have a leader take off, but second through, all the way on back, you've got battles. You got cars battling, passing each other, beating and banging. That's great. And I also want to say great job by all these drivers for no full course cautions. Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca is famous for full course cautions, unfortunately, because of all of the gravel. Once a car goes off track and gets stuck in the gravel, you've got to do a full course caution to get that safety car out there, to get the car on the hook, get it back out of harm's way. But these guys have been running green all the way from the drop of the green flag.
Can Scott Tucker catch John Brownson for the lead of the Masters class? Can Sean Rahal hold off Dan Goldberg? We'll find out right after this short commercial break. And we're back to racing here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca as we see number 34, John Brownson, going through the famous corkscrew. John Brownson, we like to call him Mr. Excitement for good reason. He is probably my favorite, and I know I'm not supposed to have favorites, but he was probably my favorite Masters class driver simply because of the amount of aggression and energy he puts into every single race.
I have to agree with you. Oh, look at this. Joel Janko making a move on Daniel Mancini into 11. Makes it stick. Nice move, Joel Janko.
And talking about the Masters class, I got to also give a little bit of a shout out to Scott Tucker. Scott Tucker, the 05 Level 5 Motorsports entry, who is running in second behind John Brownson currently, as we see him there. Scott Tucker is, if John Brownson is Mr. Excitement, I'd like to call Scott Tucker Mr. Smooth, because Scott Tucker does a fantastic job and hits his marks every time and is a fantastic racer, and also races an LMP2 car in the ALMS and does extremely well there as well.
Yeah, he finished third in the last race overall, which is his best finish ever, I believe, in the Cooper Tires prototype lights powered by Mazda. So congrats and hats off to him. And to follow up what you said, Matt, not only does he drive the LMP2 in the American Le Mans Series, but he has two cars and typically enters himself and races both cars, which means he gets in and starts one car, he gets out and lets the other co-driver get in, and while the other co-driver of his other car gets out, Scott jumps in. So the guy races more than any other driver during the ALMS race, and he's also doing this race, and he usually does a portion of the GT3 Cup Series. The guy cannot get enough racing. I am jealous.
And it is that passion that makes all of the series, especially the Cooper Tires prototype lights powered by Mazda, so special. It's that kind of passion that Scott Tucker shows that many other people show, like John Brownson and even some of the younger guns. That's what makes fantastic racing, is that kind of personal devotion to a series.
Absolutely. Back on the leader here, Sean Rahal knifing through traffic, hitting his marks, very smooth. Looks like he is in the driver's seat for sure for a win here. He's just got to hit his marks, not make any mistakes around traffic. He's got a huge gap, just sailing away. Beautiful drive so far by Sean Rahal.
Yeah, some of our more avid viewers will remember Sean Rahal from way back when, our first preseason show last year, 2012 Cooper Tires prototype lights powered by Mazda. Sean Rahal was actually up against rookie Tristan Nunez at Road Atlanta in 2011 for both rounds, and he won both rounds against Tristan Nunez back in 2011. So it shows you how fast Sean Rahal is, winning against Tristan Nunez in both those rounds. Tristan Nunez, as many know, is our champion from last year, set all kinds of records in prototype lights.
Yeah, and he's moved up into the LMPC category of the American Le Mans Series, and I was actually in that race, Matt. Got beat by both this man, Sean Rahal, and Tristan Nunez, but I remember those races, and they had epic battles in that weekend at the Petit Le Mans. In fact, Tristan was leading for a lot of that race, being hounded heavily by Sean Rahal, and I believe in the second race there was some traffic that came into play, and Sean got around him, and I believe it was on the final lap, and it was just epic. But yeah, Sean Rahal knows how to get around a racetrack. He spent some of his career in some of the ranks of NASCAR, but here he adapted very quickly to this prototype lights car, and just shows a mark of a great driver to be able to jump from one series to another and be competitive in all of them.
Well, we see there on camera that Scott Tucker has passed John Brownson. I'm not sure if John Brownson had a little bit of bobble, because that's a pretty healthy gap that Scott Tucker has placed on John Brownson. But nevertheless, Scott Tucker, Mr. Smooth, has put a move on John Brownson, and he is now leading the Masters class.
Wow. Yeah, I wonder if John maybe locked him up, or who knows.
Let's look at the replay here as to what happened, and, well, sure enough, Scott Tucker just made a fantastic move going in the corkscrew. Made it stick.
That was samurai-like. He just flew by him there. I can't believe that he was able to make that corner. I think it even surprised John, as you saw him kind of check up before he turned in. That was an amazing pass. Well done, Scott Tucker.
Yeah, that was a fantastic pass, and now we see why Scott Tucker not only is such a good racer and gets a lot of practice, but that's why he's in the ALMS.
Yeah, Kansas City native making quick work of John Bronson, but trust me, John Bronson will not let him go. This guy is fast around here, and if he can, he will keep him in his sights and try and make a move on him before the race is done.
You know, I wonder if John Brownson has maybe a little bit of a issue with his car, because it seems like that gap's actually getting a little bit larger.
Yeah, as I see that, I'm seeing that. Maybe his tires are going, or you know, when it's hot out, a lot of times these brakes will start to fade throughout the race. And as I said earlier, it's been a green flag race all the way through.
And that is Scott Tucker going around the number 4 car of Ludovico Manfredi as we watch Sean Rahal on board through the corkscrew. Never can get enough of the corkscrew.
Yeah, what a great shot there. As you can see how much you just come up to that crest and you can't even see around it. You've got to make your reference point in the tree line far away, because it's such a drop that you come up over the ridge and all of a sudden you're like, wow, where are we going? And you just hang on for the ride. It's awesome.
As we see Mikhail Goetberg, the number 10 car of JDC Motorsports, dispensing with some lap traffic. That's, you know, again, you've got spec cars, you've got 2 different classes, you've got so many different driver levels here. All the drivers are fantastic professional drivers, but you really have a few guys that stand out, and then in the Masters class you have a few guys that stand out. And so when you have these long green flag runs at Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda Races, you get a lot of lap traffic. And what's so exciting is the leaders are trying to lap through battles that are occurring with another Masters class. So this is really a great development series for the ALMS and other sports car series, because it really gets them that experience they need on how to get through that lap traffic, how to get through the slower traffic, how to get through the multiple classes and the different levels of racing. It really is the perfect primer for a driver to move up into the LMPC, which, as part of the Mazda Ladder program, the champion of the L1 class for the season does get an opportunity in an LMPC car for the next year.
100% right, Matt. Exactly. And not only, to add to your point, does it help you in passing cars, but it's also important to learn to get past, to keep your line and to not get out of the way. Be predictable. Sports car racing is all about different classes on the track, different cars battling it out, and different cars passing and being passed. And this is, as you said, a great ladder, great platform to learn lessons in that.
Well, we just saw an example of it right there as Dan Goldberg is working through lap traffic. Car number 6 of Performance Tech, Dan Goldberg, working through lap traffic. And so let's take an opportunity to cut away and talk to Rich Dahl. We talked to Rich before the start of the race in the paddock this morning to talk about Rich, about his team, his drivers, Mr. Excitement, and the race here at Laguna Seca. Hi, we're here with Rich Dahl of Eurosport Racing at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for the Cooper Tires prototype lights powered by Mazda. Rich, looking to have a fantastic year this year again?
Yeah, we struggled the first event at Sebring a little bit. Hopefully we can come back here at Laguna and have a good event.
Well, I see you've got Mr. Excitement, John Brownson, back with you again this year. Looking forward to watching him race, and hopefully he can catch another Masters Championship.
Yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. He's had a tough break yesterday. He was running third in the race, and at the restart got tapped off, and so we'll try again today.
Well, hopefully race 2 here will be a little bit better for him. And are you expecting anything different out of Joel Janko?
Joel's still learning the car a little bit, but he's progressing very well. I think he's going to have some good finishes this year.
Well, thank you very much. Best of luck today. Rich Dahl, Eurosport Racing.
Nice job, Matt. Rich Dahl, love that guy. I've known him since I was in diapers. He runs Eurosport Racing out of Denver, Colorado, Class Act, and I've been racing with him in different series, different cars for as long as I can remember. Nice job.
Well, we see on track here 2 of the Masters class entries, the number 96 of Danny Mancini and the number 65 of Lamont Harris, battling for position as we see Danny Mancini getting a little bit loose there coming out of turn 11. You know, these guys are going to battle for their individual positions. Again, another battle within the overall race.
Yeah, and I think you'll see more and more of that, the back end of cars sliding out. These Cooper tires are great tires, but maybe some of these teams have set up the tire pressures and the camber levels to incorporate some of the cautions, but we'll see.
Well, we're with Sean Rahal as he crosses the line to put another lap in the record books. Let's see if Sean Rahal can keep his lead going. We'll see if Dan Goldberg can try to get up to the bumper of Sean Rahal. And we'll see if Mikhail Goekberg can get himself figured into the mix. And don't forget those Masters class guys. We'll check out all the action when we come back after this short commercial break.
Welcome back to Mazda Raceway at Laguna Seca. We are here for round 4 of the Cooper Tires prototype lights powered by Mazda. As you see, the battle we've been following from a little bit back in the pack, Daniel Mancini and Lamont Harris. Both cars are trying to make it to the end. I saw earlier both of their back ends have been scooting out on them a little bit, so these guys got their hands full. And there you see, holy cow! What a save from Lamont Harris. His car was sideways, man. That's awesome.
Obviously, the tires are relatively gone on Lamont's. The rear tires are obviously gone there. That was a fantastic save.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. And here he is coming right back at Daniel Mancini, who's we saw him earlier through corner 11. His tires were dancing a bit too, so this is getting exciting.
Well, one thing it was it was a little bit hot out there for the race today, maybe a little bit unseasonably hot. So it was cold yesterday and hot today as we see him going through the corkscrew. Lamont Harris is really getting back up on that back bumper of Danny Mancini.
Yeah, and I bet that they haven't run this far all weekend green because, you know, all of the accidents that we've had throughout practice and qualifying and race 3 as he looks to the inside of Daniel Mancini but thinks better of it. So maybe they guessed on tire pressure, assuming that the tires would get a chance to cool down on some caution laps, but we have not had them. These guys have been out there duking it out from green till now.
And with little under 4 minutes left in this timed 45-minute race, we can see that Danny Mancini and Lamont Harris, while they're battling each other out, they are actually catching back up to the next group in front of them. Joel Janko, you can see there a little bit in the image, and then you can see a couple other L1 cars out in front of them. So when you have these battles back in the pack that then get intertwined into other battles, it gets really exciting. So this last 3 minutes is going to be really top-notch.
It ain't over yet, I can tell you that much. And right now, Daniel Mancini's just thinking to himself, hit your marks, keep him behind me, just be smooth. And Lamont Harris is just saying, come on, Daniel, make a mistake. Let me get by you. But these guys are going to be pushing until the end. And as you said, Joel Janko seems to be being drawn in by these two. So he's thinking to himself, come on, white flag. I want to see the white flag next time by.
As we see our leader, number 14, Sean Rahal, the Robert Talbot sponsored car. He is catching up more lap traffic. One of the Potolicchio brothers, that's Christian Potolicchio in the white and orange 8-star motorsports entry. And up in front of them is Ludovico Manfredi. So we'll see if this traffic can actually slow Sean Rahal down enough for Dan Goldberg to be able to catch up.
Yeah, and for Sean Rahal, he's just thinking, don't do anything dumb. Take your time. You've got a big lead. Make sure that when you make that pass, you're not going 3 wide, and Christian is not making a pass on the car in front of him. So I'm sure that he'll err on the side of caution here and just make sure that he gets the pass done clean, as he's got a comfortable cushion at this point.
And you know that the pits of,
wow, just
Christian,
as I say that.
He gets a little bit loose, and that's going to allow Sean Rahal a chance to jump by them both, and he can clear them both and get into a little bit more of a safe environment. And as I was just getting ready to say that, Performance Tech is saying, we need a caution, and Comparant is saying, no cautions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly right. I'm sure that they're doing their respective dances in the pit lane, but Sean Rahal cruising, and I'm sure he was a little bit tense when that car was sideways in front of him, because that's the last thing he wants to see is any trouble with lap traffic.
That's right, and you notice that when that car got sideways, he backed off very, very quickly. He knew he had a little bit of a buffer and didn't have Dan Goldberg right up behind him, so he played it safe, he played it smart.
Yeah, exactly. What a race so far by Sean Rahal. Probably 2 laps to go at this point, and as I said, he's just concentrating on keeping it smooth, hitting his marks, and no big mistakes, and he's got this thing in his hand.
And here we go. As predicted earlier, they are catching the next battle in front of them. Danny Mancini and Lamont Harris are now going to be mixing it up with Dan Wayland and Joel Janko. So with 43 times, and Owen Kratz has run into the Mazda banners there on the side of the track at the corkscrew.
Yeah, looks like
he's pulling one with him. Almost got
right
into Sean
in front
Rahal.
of the leader. Wow. Hey, look at that free advertising for Mazda.
Mazda's got to be loving that advertising, because not only is he pulling their banner, but he's pulling it perfectly horizontal to the track. Look at that. That's perfect.
I think we've got a design for next year's LMP1. I think this could be something, but wow. Coming out right in front of the leader. And as I said earlier, that's blind. So Sean Rahal coming around as a car is moving right into the racing line in front of him. Great job to avoid that. Again, this is such a long last 2 laps for Sean Rahal with these cars going off and sideways and coming back on in front of him. He's going to be happy when this thing is done.
Well, we are on the final lap. You saw the white flag waving there. So Sean Rahal's just got to get around here, hit his marks, protect his position, and protect his car as he is within lap traffic. And the same goes for our Masters class leader, Scott Tucker. Scott Tucker's just got to get around here and protect his lead and protect his car and claim his first place as well, as we see that battle within the battle really heating up. Joel Janko going around Dan Wayland. Lamont Harris is trying to get around Danny Mancini.
Holy cow, we're going 2 wide through this corner 4 here. That won't work, so they go single file, and we are not done racing. Last lap here, still a ton of action.
Those Masters class guys, they want their positions, and there is no words for the excitement you get with prototype lights. That battle within the battle, and here we see Sean Rahal onto the front stretch to take his checkered flag, and so he goes over to the wall to salute his teammates, and it's a checkered flag for Sean Rahal, winner of round 4 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda. So let's see what these Masters guys do.
Janko leading Mancini and Lamont, followed by Dan Wayland. They got 2 corners left to do this, and I don't know if any of them are close enough to make a move. It looks like Joel Janko may be able to hold off Danny Mancini and Lamont Harris. We'll see as they come up to corner 11, the final corner. They bring it onto the straightaway, and it looks like, yeah, Joel Janko. Nice job fighting those guys off.
Joel Janko checking his mirrors as he crosses the line, followed by Danny Mancini and Lamont Harris. Fantastic drive by those three guys. That is a wonderful race for the Masters class as you see the checkered flag waving.
Yeah, that was very entertaining, and hats off to Sean Rahal. Great race from him from start to finish. The guy didn't miss a mark, avoided some trouble, and well-deserved win.
Absolutely, and also hats off to Robert Talbot for being Sean Rahal's sponsor. We love people that support Lights Racing. As we see 05 Scott Tucker, Level 5 Motorsports, taking the win for the Masters class. Fantastic job to Mr. Scott Tucker, Mr. Smooth.
And I'll tell you what, great job to all the drivers out there for keeping this race green all the way through. That makes it a lot of fun for the fans and a lot of fun for you viewers. It's a heck of an accomplishment to keep all those cars out of the gravel.
And we see the 06 car, or the 6 car of Daniel Goldberg coming through the corkscrew. Dan Goldberg's second place, a very well-deserved second place. He started off with a little bit of excitement when the front bonnet of his car flew up, and he actually caught it. As we see our leader and our winner, Sean Rahal, car number 14, pulling onto pit road to take his congratulations and his spot on the top of that podium. And car number 10, Mikhail Goldberg of JDC Motorsports. Mikhail, fantastic driver.
Yep, finished third. Great job by our top three. I think we're going to see these three battle it out all season long, but today belonged to Sean Rahal.
And Ryan Booth has got to be feeling extremely dejected, sitting by the side of the track, watching these guys race, knowing that he should have been up there in the mix. And Ryan Booth, with his mechanical failure, breaking the suspension, finished in next to last place, but it was car number 14, Sean Rahal of Competent Motorsports, taking the win, followed by Dan Goldberg of Performance Tech, Mikhail Goldberg of JDC, and Scott Tucker, 4th overall, but 1st in Masters, followed by John Brownson, 2nd in Masters. Congratulations to all of our victors. Let's go down and talk to Sean Rahal in the pits about his win. We're with Sean Rahal, winner of Race 2 here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Sean, fantastic race. Tell us about how it went from lap 1.
You know, lap 1 we had a little bit of contact initially on the start, but we got through that, and you know, it was a really consistent race. The cars were falling off a lot by many seconds just because of the tires and the heat of the day. You know, Competent Motorsports gave me a great car, and I really got to thank Robert Talbot for letting me be here. It's really great to get them a win, especially in their hometown. You know, Robert Talbot headquarters is a quarter mile from here, and their winery is about 5-6 miles down the road. It's really great to be here and bring home 2 poles and 2 wins for them. I'm really fortunate to be here and be at Prototype Lights in this great series.
Was there anything you could draw from this race that you will take on into the rest of the season?
Have faith and master on it.
Congratulations once again. Sean Rahal, Competent Motorsports, winner of round 2 here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Thank you for joining us here from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca in beautiful Monterey, California for the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda round 3 and 4. Exciting race, and congratulations to all the competitors on an excellent event. So make sure you join us next time as we head north of the border to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for the Grand Prix of Motorsport. You don't want to miss it.